All right, how's it going, everybody? My name is Omar Thabit. I am here live with Jesse Donoghue, as well as his daughter Charlotte is in the building as well. This is another interview on MotivateMe313. For those of you that watch the Fantasy Guys, should already know who Jesse Donoghue is, but this is a lot better platform to have him. I mean, he's very knowledgeable in sports. But in terms of the world and stuff that's going on, I think Jesse is even more knowledgeable about that kind of conversation. So first of all, Jesse, thank you for doing this interview with us.
Thanks for having us on, man. This is my daughter, Charlotte. She wanted to check out everything, see what was going on. I said, come on in and learn.
For sure. And Charlotte, since you are here, I don't know if you're going to leave anytime soon. I want to start off this interview by asking you, can you tell us, first of all, is your father a great father? Because I kind of know the answer, but I kind of want you to share that with everybody else. And can you tell us why he is great? If you do think he is great, by the way.
He is definitely great.
And why is that?
He's kind. He helps us with a lot of things.
That is awesome. And Charlotte, what school do you go to and what grade are you in now, by the way?
I'm in 6th grade now, and I go to middle school.
Yeah, she's starting middle school. She's a little anxious because she didn't get that introduction, but her brother's already there, so you think Xavier will help?
No.
And by the way, Charlotte, you're a hockey player, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. How do you like playing hockey?
It's fun.
It's fun?
I get to make a lot of friends.
Isn't your dad the coach?
Yes.
Is that annoying or is that a good thing that your dad is the coach?
Both.
Both?
It's more fun than annoying, but it's both.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Charlotte. I'm going to ask Jesse the Don Donoghue, by the way. I know we kind of got to know you a little bit, but can you tell us about yourself, Jesse?
All right. I don't know, just your basic goo. I did go to the greatest university in the world. That would be the University of Michigan. So I'm going to start with that.
Can we just get this off on the record right now that we cannot lie on this interview, okay? There's no lying. We try to keep it honest as best as we can, all right? Don't start off with a big lie like that.
The greatest by all the measurements I know of.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
My perspective, however, it could be distorted. I mean, based on, things like just being the best, but whatever. But yeah, I teach. I've been teaching for almost 20 years now. It's been a long time. Been in multiple schools, I know. Long before you. I got to meet the wonderful Omar at GDSU when we did our grad program, which I think this really guided the last couple of years of my life. We had some really good instructors and some really good conversation. I mean, the kids we went to school with, I look to them as even now, just as my peers and pushing forward the ideas we're doing, and that's pretty much what drives me. I'm all about education, I'm all about equality, I'm all about demonstration, being there, and it carries over to the hockey rink, and it carries over to the classroom, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much me. I'm trying to get in shape. We'll see about that. I put on a COVID-20, trying to knock it off over the summer. Maybe the COVID-30.
That's hilarious, man. I mean, you look great to me, Jesse, man. I just want to let you know that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm going to go straight to the shirt, first of all, because for people that are watching, because we got some viewers looking live, all right? The shirt says, for those of you that can't see it, I know y'all can see the letters big that says white privilege. But then it says, use yours to fight for those without it. Can you tell us about that shirt and what's the meaning behind it, Jesse?
Yes, I love this shirt. My friend Chandrika made it for me. We were kind of talking. I wanted something that stood out in a crowd, like a conversation starter. That's a loud kid. That really gets things going. And I want to address my position in the world. I'm a middle class, white male, moderate intelligence. Things have been lined up for me from day one. And I'm no fool. I recognize the role that plays. The first time, I can give you a ton of instances, but in particular, when I was younger, I got caught stealing. And I didn't get arrested. They called my mom, came and got me, right? And little things like that, how you're treated different by the law in different places builds up to where later when you get in trouble, which may or may not happen, there's nothing on your record, so you get treated differently, right? So what I like about wearing the shirt is it works really well in some of the more white, affluent communities that I live in to have discussions with people. Like, what are you doing with yours? You know you have power. And then if they don't want to talk about white privilege, just say, what about blessings? What about the way things have worked out well for you, right? What are you doing with that privilege? And if you want to call it a blessing, call it a blessing. Like, how are you speaking for those who can't, right? And that's pretty much the driving one. Plus, if you're going to wear the shirt, you got to live the life. You know what I mean? You can't, you know me, I try to be the best that I can be. And it raised the bar for myself, too. Just by putting a shirt on, it's saying you want to get involved in the civil rights movement, you know, then you got to be involved. And you got to actively do it. And you have to go in uncomfortable places, and it might be somebody's back there barbecuing, right?
Definitely.
So, yeah.
And I'm happy that you mentioned that, because that kind of leads to my next question. For those of you that are watching, if y'all see Jesse Donoghue's Facebook page, he is constantly talking about civil rights movements, all different kinds of movements. And specifically lately, he's been posting a lot about the Black Lives Matter movement. So can you kind of touch on that and let us know, what are your thoughts on that movement that's going on right now, which is the Black Lives Matter movement?
Well, I was privileged back in different kind of privilege. I was honored back in 2013 when I taught at IPSC, and the students were looking to get involved in our version of the Black Lives Movement that was just kind of beginning in the last 10 years or so. And I was honored to be asked by the students to be part of it, right? And I said, my job, let's just be crystal clear, is to be a facilitator, right? And in doing so, I was able to give the opportunity. I said, you know, I can't be me speaking. I can open some doors as a teacher, but you guys got to do the work. And it was a blessing to kind of see the things and to hear the stories. Because, you know, I grew up in the 90s, you know, Reginald Denny, Rodney King, you know, later 90s, Amadou Diallo, like different things. Like I was aware of Cincinnati when I was in school in the 90s. Like these are all things that I cared about, but there was no tangible way I felt attached to any of those movements, right? You know, you could be sympathetic, but sympathy is not worth anything. Words are wind, right? So in the school, you know, 7 years ago, I was able to have an opportunity to be part of that group, and I feel like it really opened me to a lot of stuff. And you got more stories, you have to understand it. And I've always felt like I'm kind of a storyteller. I'm a talker, you know me. My job is to take those stories and move them out of the city and into the suburbs. You know, if I could be, you know, if I could be the best me, I would like to be the transmission point between two places. You know, I think maybe that's my gift, is the ability to empathize and understand and share ideas. You know, I don't know if it's in me to change the laws. I'm not a politician or whatever. I definitely am all in on education. But education is about empowering and informing the students to make the change, you know. So hopefully that I can be an active participant, right? Participant, not leader, but an active participant. And part of that is, you know, in the Black Lives Matter movement, and you know Facebook's been World War III all this year. I've lost friends. I've had people tell me I'm a horrible person. I've had people that I love cut me off. And to be honest, I've cut off people I love because there's some rules in this world. And if you are going to disrespect the people that I care about, which is everybody, then you can't be a part of my life. And that's a hard truth to walk. It really is. It's a fine line, you know, and sometimes people do get hurt. But the truth of the matter is, you know, I'm not here for their white comfort. You know what I mean? And I have to challenge myself and even hold myself to higher standards of like, you know, what am I doing? Am I living all the truths that I say? And I tell you what, the number one thing that I like about the Black Lives Matter movement is it grows, it changes, it can mean different things in different communities, but it's number one based on listening to today's youth. And we use the police as a focal point in the issues with injuring and killing young black men, but that's just that's the symptom of the cold that's on the inside, right? So we're really talking about affecting judicial and executive change, right? And I think these things are coming. I get very excited right now in the sense that not since 50 years ago when they killed all our heroes, right? Not since then have we really had a push like this. And I feel like we have to stay on it because we know that the face of America is fickle, right? They're going to stop listening. And it's already turned off. People, you ask them to wear a mask, and they say, well, protesters don't wear masks. I was like, well, yeah, they do. You want to watch the video. You know what I mean? Like, but they're not watching it. They're just attacking. I mean, you've got a white supremacist running the country. So how can you expect his little minions to really be open to what you're saying? And you just got to keep hammering away, right?
Yep, I agree 100%, and you bring up some great points, Jesse. I really, really do appreciate you mentioning all that stuff because you definitely brought up some great points, Jesse. So you mentioned that you work at a school, and I know we kind of discussed this beforehand, you and I, about the school that you work at is UPSM and the dedication that it has to culturally responsive teaching. So first of all, can you tell the audience what that is and why it is so important?
Well, so it's the awareness of, and I like the word responsibility in the middle. We have a responsibility as a teacher to address the culture in front of us, right? And what's important about it is that we've always taught, like, my world is my room. You come in, you will follow my rules, and I'm going to show you how to get somewhere. And I feel like culture responsive teaching is about making it our room and addressing the world that my students are living in. And us working together, yes, we could follow the age-old, the teacher sharing knowledge with youth, but the truth of the matter is, I don't own that knowledge either, right? We're all kind of sharing it together when we look at a text or a story or a poem, and I'm much more interested in their ability to get into a poem than I am that direct meaning, because they'll get to meaning later, and we naturally make meaning of everything we read. And what I really liked is John Lockhart, who's our principal this year, has really made a push at the end of this year, going into next, like, we're going to be a culturally responsible building. And if you don't want it, go. And I'll be honest, there's some people in my building that probably need to go. And they will get pushed. I mean, like, you can go teach wherever you want. If you don't want to be a part of this, go elsewhere. But for the rest of us, that's our dedication, that's our promise. I can tell any kid that comes into my classroom, I'm going to listen, I'm going to hear what you have to say, and we're going to work together. And it's not that old pandering crap of like, oh, their life's hard, blah, blah. The stuff like sometimes you see with that white guilt, or even white people, coming into the classroom as the savior. It's not that crap at all. It's understanding where you're working, the material you're covering, and putting it in a way to where your classroom is working together. The teacher is a facilitator, but with that responsibility to who they are and the world around them. I'm not going to lie to them and tell them everything's going to be great. If you go to college, everything's going to work out, whatever. Maybe not. You got to learn to advocate for yourself through your right. That's what I teach 9th grade English. Welcome to the big boys. And what I love about 9th grade English, it's one of the few points in your life when you come into high school where the slate actually gets wiped clear. Yeah. Colleges don't look at what you did in 8th grade. They don't look at 7th grade. You are not grown, but you are becoming grown, and you are getting the opportunity to show yourself with this learning of who and what you are before going forward. And it's a powerful moment in kids' lives. That we lose more students in 9th grade than any other, right, for kids who don't graduate. You can take a list at the end of the first year of high school and see who passed all their classes, who didn't. And I just feel like that dedication through our principal and through, I've got a wonderful coach. Danielle Stern, she works with me, and Stringer and I will have real conversations about, all right, Donoghue, she holds me accountable, right? Because even me, there's a trap you can fall into if you've been teaching so long to think you know how to do it with each group, but you really don't. It's such an ongoing thing. And when you're being held accountable, all right, Donoghue, I see what you're doing, but did it work or not? So how are we going to teach you again the next time and the next time? And that's culturally responsible teaching. You are responsible to the people in front of you and making sure they learn. It's not just standard-based, this is what you're going to learn, these are your objectives, blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is what we're doing together. This is where you're at, this is where we're going.
And I think
it's empowering to be part of a school that does that. It feels good. It's exciting to look to the fall and say, man, maybe we'll do something special.
And I think in 2020, that's the best way of going about teaching. Because like you mentioned before, I think it's just the modern day teaching. It's the right way of going about it. A lot of different people are going through different situations. So at the end of the day, a culturally responsive teaching, you have to be culturally aware of where you're working. Just as a person like myself working in a neighborhood of all white students, I need to be culturally aware of what's going on at the end of the day. So it goes for everybody. So thank you for sharing that. I know when you've seen this question, I kind of put 5 years. So the question is, what do you hope to see from the world in terms of race relations in the next 5 years? The reason why I put 5 years is I'm not saying that I want it to be 5 years from now. I wish it can happen tomorrow, but I know that it's going to take time. So I put 5 years there because that's kind of like a middle ground time frame. So what do you hope to see from the world in terms of race relations in the next few years, I guess?
I want to see a civil rights movement that challenges the civil rights laws of like 64. I want to see something tangible and moving forward where we pick up what we knew. We desegregated schools only to resegregate schools. You know, I want to see a tangible change in understanding. And when we talk about Langston Hughes, you know, out of rack and ruin and gangster death, you know, to make America again, like that idea of what we have is a beautiful opportunity to really be the true melting pot. You know what I mean? Like really working with one another and building off each other's strengths and respecting, you know, like heritage is a tough word right now, but respecting where people came from. You have a lineage, I have a lineage, my daughter has a lineage, I'm pastor of what we've done and coming together. I want tangible change. I don't want talk. I'm tired of like the 80s, I don't see color bullshit. I want to see real life understanding and empathy for the people around us. And it starts, not to get too political, but it starts with removing the white supremacists in the Oval Office. You cannot have, you have a troll in the Oval Office, you have like true division. Republican friends of mine, and Republican friends are like a lower level of friend, but they're still friends, right? But like, they just are so aggressive and mean because it doesn't impact them. Or at least it hasn't impacted them yet. But it will. So I was telling them, like we're talking about basic empathy. You know, if you're a religious man or woman, which the majority of people are to some extent, or if you're an atheist but you believe in doing right, all these things are just logical. No one's asking you. We're saying, like, let's stop letting cops kill kids. I'm tired of watching the damn videos. Like, every time the outrage builds, but it doesn't change a damn thing until someone's indicted, right? Until someone's actually indicted, till one of these police officers is indicted and held accountable, then we can't trust our judicial system. And we can't trust the judicial system to hold the executive branches and the other branches and, you know, the legislative branch accountable, then where are we? So I guess in 5 years, I just want to see movement towards unity. We're so divided right now, and that's not going to change. You know, it's going to take some time, and I hope that strong bonds are made on both ends.
That, you know,
I'm an optimist, man.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And I said, I was mentioning it, like the video that I did. I think the best way of breaking that thing is, I was gonna mention how I seen her doing some TikTok dances in the background, man. I was about to start joining her on some TikTok dances, but no, going back to the conversation is, I think the biggest thing is to build relationships with one another, and that's the best way of kind of fighting this. You know, I don't want to call racism, but kind of fighting this division. You know, but you gotta want to build a relationship. That's the first step, I think. You have to want to do that, and I think that's the big step. And getting people to want to understand each other is a big thing. So, all right, well, great conversations, Jesse, man. I'm telling you guys, for those that are watching, Jesse's the man. You know, this is why he's very knowledgeable on things, and that's why I enjoy having conversations with him. This question's for you, Jesse. When someone says Jesse Donoghue, okay? Like, I know this guy, Jesse Donoghue. What do you want people to say about you?
This is one of the harder questions you gave me.
Okay.
That and the other one I addressed, but like, I just want people to know that I love and care about them. And I think people do. I think at my finest moments, I'm with family and friends, and we're enjoying this life, right? You get one life. That's it. You know, we're the summation of what we've done so far and a little bit of what we might want to do. You know, and I just hope that when people think of me, number one, I'm proud to know that people know where I stand. One way or another. If they like me or hate me, they've got a good reason. And I think that just the family and you know, I wrote on my notes, a listener and empathetic. But I think people know that. Like, I'm a talker. I enjoy that. I hope that the people, every person I met can look back at a moment together when we laughed. When we thought about something deep. It could be something in our classroom. It could be sitting around a campfire talking about, you know, different planets or different ideas. You know, just something that human exchange, I think, is the true gift from God. And at times, by the way, Jesse does mean gift from God. That's on my mom, though. I don't know if it's a true gift.
There you
but,
go. That's
I
funny.
do think that I've been blessed enough to recognize what friendship is and how it feels. So I guess it's a long, rambling answer. I hope people enjoy being around me.
And
Everybody.
and for I can speak for myself is that I definitely do enjoy being around you, Jesse. I think we enjoyed sometimes more laughs than we should have been laughing in class. That's for sure. So no, but in all seriousness, man, you are what you just said you are. And I like how you said I want people to, if they do like me or don't like me, at least they have a valid reason, because you are who you are, and that's why I respect you, because you're not afraid to not be yourself, and that's very important. When I interview people, when I ask them, the last question that I'm going to get to is, what's your advice? People always say, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself. Like at least 4 or 5 people have said that, and that's what you do for sure. So going back to
my self-esteem, Omar.
go ahead, what'd you say, man? I didn't hear you.
You're good for my self-esteem.
For sure, man. Just watch this video whenever you need it, man. That's why I do these interviews. Always go back to it. So basically, you coach hockey. Now we're gonna start we're gonna push away from the drama, I guess you could say, that's going on in the world, and kind of talk about you. So you coach hockey. How's that going? I see your post that how much you enjoy it. So can you tell us about that?
I love it, man. I'm blessed to be in with a good group of kids. I have some parents. Kristen Parker, one of my friends, she picked up the Wednesday thing, so we're practicing with kids, just working out. And you and I both know that workout is more about getting the kids out and seeing each other, building that teamwork. It starts now for the fall. And I just love it, man. Every time I'm on the ice, you won't find me mad. You know what I mean? Like we all have a home. When I'm in the classroom, I'm on point and it's time to go. When I'm on the ice, it's the other side. I'm just enjoying it. I'm just taking it in.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like we're a recharge and we're a refill. And these kids are just wonderful. They're awesome. I'm watching them grow up 2-3 years. And from sports, what's beautiful about sports, if we really want to talk about equality, you'll have some issues here or there, but in general, the best is the best. Hard work is fair. You know what I mean? Like sports, hockey, you can be the most white privileged kid in the world, but when you get on the ice, you still got to go earn that shit. Like you got to get out there and do it. And I love it. I love watching the kids grow. And I've learned over the years, I had some great advice. Rob Plasman, this guy I coached with for a couple of years, and he really taught me to take in and see the kids where they are. So often as a coach, it's kind of like as a teacher, you want to get to a certain level, right? But in sports, there's so many different objectives. It's not just a straight line. It's not just a slap shot. It's not just speed on the ice. Part of it's teamwork. Part of it's enjoyment. Part of it's being comfortable in your own skin. Do you know how to celebrate when you score a goal? Do you know how to feel good about yourself? Can you escape on the ice? And I get to watch it every day. You can't beat that. You really can't. I'm blessed to have families that are around me that support me. I'm blessed that people trust you with their children. You know what I mean? To be trusted in an educational environment and in a sports environment, I can't think of a higher honor. Can you? I mean, that's literally people, especially in sports where they choose you.
Yep.
We trust you with our kid. The thing I love the most in the world, I'm going to let you work with.
Yep, exactly, and that is true, and the interaction is just amazing. We got Brittany from our class saying "boys!" exclamation point. I guess she's tuning in. Shout out to Brittany. We miss you guys, everybody from class, GVSU.
We need a reunion. That's what we need. That post-COVID reunion. Everybody get their kids together at the park, running around. That
would be nice. That would be a lot of fun. So continuing that, by the way, just going off of your coaching rant, I think like you said, seeing the growth of the kids is the greatest feeling in the world. Because, sometimes, obviously, I don't know if you get paid, but the pay is not that serious and you don't even care about that. It's obviously enjoying that moment. Sometimes people say at least me, why are you coaching? Why are you still coaching? Or blah, blah, blah. And it's just those moments, man, that moments of growth. I remember my nephew, this was his first year me coaching and coaching him. And so I seen him, and he was in a pickle situation in baseball, by the way. He was in a pickle situation, and he just got out of it. And I looked at my brother, and I was like, when people ask me why do I coach, I was like, it's for those kind of moments right there. Just seeing somebody grow, like a person that really never played baseball, getting out of a pickle, knowing how to handle it and getting out of it. Just those moments, man, priceless. Definitely priceless, man. So I could agree with you on that one, man. what I can't agree with you is that you're a Michigan fan. I know you looked at the next question. Jordan Waz, by the way, said, "Hey Jesse, much love." Jordan Waz, just want to give you a heads up. My next question is: you are a big Michigan fan, okay? And I just kind of can't even like read the rest of the question just because I started off the question like that. But no, in all seriousness, Jim Harbaugh, what is he? I think 5 years now there. 5 years. Everybody that I've spoken to, give him 3 years. Give him his recruiting class. Give him 4 years. Give him 5 years. So it's been 5 years. No Big Ten championship yet. Do you think Michigan will ever get to the college football playoff / national championship under Jim Harbaugh?
Man, I need to say yes because there's no way for you to hold me accountable. But it's tough, man. It's if there's one unimportant thing that matters the most, it's Michigan football. Sometimes I think the best part about COVID is we might not lose to Ohio State this year.
That is true.
I hate to say that like in public.
And you know what's funny is that Michigan fans will say, we didn't lose to them last year. That's exactly what Michigan fans will say if that were to happen, by the way.
Oh, of course. They would put it in as a tie. We would take a tie. I mean, how sad is that? The guy who preached greatness and excellence has delivered neither. Now, it doesn't mean he's a bad coach. It doesn't mean he's a bad guy. I think we've done some great things with our student athletes, and I think he's put some people in the pros. But it's tough, man. We're a basketball school now, so I don't.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. This is from a state guy. I like you said, I don't think Jim Harbaugh is a bad coach. I really don't. To me, that's being ignorant, saying something like that. He has done great things because coaching is not just wins and losses, even though that's kind of what the majority of the country look at. But I think it was 2 years ago. I thought Michigan that was their year when I think they were supposed to win, and then I think Ohio State put up 60. That was the year. Like their defense was amazing. Everything was going clicking for Michigan that year, but obviously I think it's just Ohio State. I think that's the last thing of getting over that hump is just beating Ohio State, because I think you guys beaten everybody but Ohio State yet under Jim Harbaugh. So I mean, I don't know. To answer your question, the question that I had for you, I don't know. You know, what do you think? You think it can happen during his?
I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple of years. I just don't think. Without him reverting back to that guy who hated losing, something happened. Somewhere he broke and he accepted it and he quit yelling. I want the coach on the sideline when they throw the flag, picks up and throws it back. He lost that somewhere. And maybe it made him a better human being, so I want to judge him. Like I said, more or less, we put out good people, we win games, but it's been hard. When's the last time you could be proud to be a Wolverine?
Yeah.
That bomb win against Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, it's been a rough. My kid was born January 10th of 2008. On January 1st, Rich Rod was coming in, car coach's last game, and we beat Florida. Everything looked good. My son's whole life, consequently, he wears Spartan shirts.
Hey.
You know his favorite hockey camp? Michigan State.
Hey, you know what? It seems like your son is on the right track of life. I can tell you that right now, Jesse. All right, he has a great, bright future ahead of him, man. All right, well, there goes that conversation. I mean, hey, you know what? Like you said, Michigan has been balling in basketball, and Juwan Howard is over here grabbing recruits from everywhere too. So, I guess you guys got that going for y'all right now. That's for sure. So my next. My next question to you, Jesse, is a question that I ask all my guests, and it's, what gets you up every morning? So basically, what is your motivational factor every morning?
Man, the kids, the wife, just getting up and going, and they're watching, and you're responsible for them. I like to get up, get a cup of coffee. My wife wakes up and has to make her own coffee. I made a mistake, all right? I want her to wake up, the coffee's there, go say hi to the kids, get that start of the morning, man, especially during the school year when they're so up and down. That first 5 minutes can set the pace for your whole day. And I try to visualize that as a positive thing. And then Lately, I tell you what, I've had some real spiritual movements health-wise to realize, like, I put on a lot of weight for COVID and everything. But I got to get up in the morning so I can keep doing what I want to do. I told you when we met 5 years ago, I wanted to run the Department of Ed. That's what I want to do. And I'm not going to get there if I'm not healthy. And that's mentally and physically. I think COVID, in some ways, has been a blessing because you have the time to reset yourself spiritually. Own yourself. Know yourself. Start with you, then, like I said, the family, right? I can't be anything for my family if I'm not me. So that's why I get up in the morning. I center me, take care of the family. Then you reach out, and you've got your friends, and you've got the hockey family, and the teaching, and your students, right? And if you can really center that, you can go a long ways, and you can have a lot of impact without accolades, or without talking about it, just being a positive portion of someone's health or life, you know?
Yeah.
I'll try to do that.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, and hopefully everything works out for you, man. Because I think you'll be a great leader. You already are a great leader. I just think that you could even be a better leader once you are given that title and that position. So good luck with that, man. And if we can hopefully maybe even work together eventually soon. That would be a nice building. I can tell you that right now, or whatever we're working at. That would be an awesome building, and I'd love to go to work every day knowing that I'm here, Jesse, and see Jesse and be around Jesse, man. So. My last question, and then the mic is yours, is for someone that may be walking in the same or similar footsteps as you. Let's say your son is watching this, your daughter's watching this in the future. What advice would you give them? Motivate me.
2 things. The time is now. It's always now. You have to be prepared for it, right? So we live in this concept of the present, the past, the future, right? And technically, everything as it comes out of you is already in the past, right? So you have to be prepared. And I feel like we have an opportunity. And I'm going to go off on white males for a moment here because I know that some of my white brothers and sisters feel picked on, whatever. You know, it's really not about you. It's about how we engage with other people. And when you start to see yourself as a part of that movement, well, then that's a heck of a lot easier. You know what I mean? Like, we're not saying take what you got, share nothing. We're saying share. Work with the people around you, you know? And when it comes to motivation, every one of us has the opportunity to change the world around them. We really do. And you see it every day. You can list countless people you've met who make the world better for people every time they walk in their room. And I bet you can list countless more people who have made your world better in small increments, and if they could control their life a little bit more, it would spread even more. I always tell my kids, there's a question I always ask them. It's like, what do you see? And that can be as simple as on the hockey rink, when you come off the ice, you know, hey man, hey Tanner, just got off the ice. What do you see? What do you see, right? You like to see it. But there's also walking dogs, or later on today, we're going to be taking the dogs over to the river over here in Wisconsin. What do you see? What is around you? I listened to this podcast last night or yesterday from NPR, from Radio Lab. It was this Richard Feynman thing about, like, you know, if you could leave one message, like the world blew up today and you could leave one message for tomorrow, what would it be? It was really intriguing. It really got me thinking. And it kind of leads to this. And what I came up with is just take a look around. Everything you need to know is around you. You know, God built this world for us and for the animals around it. If you find congruence, well, honestly, you're not afraid to be wrong or afraid to, you know, you don't have, if there's something you don't like about you, you can change it. You know what I mean? If you are willing to really struggle that load, and it's a heavy load, we've all been there. I mean, you've seen me at more down times where I wasn't as up and it was hard to carry that, right? But when we do, that's what we're here for, I guess. That's what makes the world better. And right now, my biggest thing is the civil rights movement was killed 50 years ago. They put a bullet in our leaders. They put drugs into our streets. And they were able to calm it down, build us the 80s, where they could have crack on one hand and business booming on the other, right? And we've had to reconcile with this. And slowly, like I said, we fought to desegregate schools, only to resegregate them based on where people live, right? You don't have charters in my affluent community. You don't have that crap. You have a neighborhood community. Right? So why is that happening? And I feel like the kids right now, like, to a certain extent, our generation dropped the ball. Mine and older, they went through it, they did it, And that doesn't mean that we haven't tried. It's just we haven't been successful. It's time to really change, to break the wheel, as Daenerys Targaryen would say. Like to really just get out there and be it and live it. And I think people are. You know, the front line is everywhere. Someone was asking the other day about statues and language and colors and like crayon. Crayola was looking at the color white and what does that mean? And, you know, white Jesus. I mean, one of the simplest conversations that's so buried in all this because people are so afraid to admit it because all we see is white Jesus in our church when everybody knows he wasn't white. You know, this is huge. All these things matter. And I guess my motivation is go out there, keep going on an issue, know an issue, own it, and fight for that issue. And then when your brothers and sisters need you, get out there with them. And you don't have to be a leader. We don't all have to have the microphone. That person standing out there like this with their brothers and sisters, that's power. That's us. That's critical mass. You ever heard the Dave Chappelle story? He was talking about telling a joke, and some woman made a joke, and then he broke it down to where a man had been murdered. A police officer murdered a guy who had pulled him over a week later and named him Carter because he was Dave Chappelle. I don't know if you know it, but it ends with critical mass is rising. Like we have large groups of people all across this country being willing to step out of their comfort, whatever that is, to work with their brothers and sisters. I cannot tell you the amount of people who reach out to me that like can't sleep at night. Like this shit's real, man. When you look at Elijah McCain, when you look at George Floyd, when you look at these things, like it hurts our soul, right? And from that pain comes growth. But it's a lot of areas. You can't just dwell on one spot. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. But the time is now. Get out there, find your issues, defend them, and when your brothers and sisters need you, listen to them. You know what I mean? We can't all own everything. I don't know everything. I know that if you're hurting, I'm there. And if I can go from that, from me to you, to the people in your community, build it back to my community, that's bridges, right? And then we'll think about our classmates. Brittany was on there earlier. You know, we know that if something happens to Brittany, even though we haven't seen her in 2 years, that's our friend, whatever she needs, right? So if we can build that world that certain people, the white supremacists in charge, are trying to break apart, right? They're giving speeches to say, don't listen to the other side. Every time we do, it becomes an act of defiance. It's resistance and action. You know what I mean? And that's what we can do. And this is real. It's real shit. Like, just being nice to someone is revolutionary right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, everything has dramatic impact. And you have the freedom to be you and to do it. And the last speech I told my kids, and I'll end on this, with my students, I said, right now, America is listening to young black men and women. They will not be doing that shit forever. That's not going to last. You got a month, maybe 2, whatever. Get your words on tape. Get your words and write them down and go be with people. Go march, communicate, build that critical mass because you're the future. Like literally, that's your job. And that's what I tell all these kids. And it is. There's so much to be upset about right now. It's so scary. You can tip over the other side. But there's so much beautiful things. People working together, nurses, risking their lives. You know, I had a really good friend get sick working as a nurse in the hospital. She got COVID. We're all worried about it, but she went right back as soon as she's better. Like, wow. Yep. You know what I mean? Stuff like this, Omar. You took your time. Right now, you could have did anything. You said, you know what? I'm going to set a platform for people to speak and bring us together. That's beautiful. You know I love you. Bow my heart, you know, we're brothers. And to watch this stuff, and for other people to watch it, they can do the same thing. You know, we have a choice every day, and it's to hide or to step forward. You know, step forward gloriously. Take the hits, take whatever comes with it, move forward and know that you're right. Believe in you. Look around, see what you see, and react the way you feel here. Not what's in your ear, what you feel, because I think we all know right from wrong. And that's it, man. I really appreciate you having me here, brother.
Hey, man. You know what, man? I throughout your whole speech, I was getting chills through my body, man. I'm telling you, man. I love this. I love going back and watching this even more because I really get to hear it better and understand it better, too, once you kind of go over it a second time around. And I hope you do the same, and I hope others get a chance to watch this as well once we kind of put it on all of our platforms. Jesse Donoghue, can you first of all show us your shirt one last time? For those that are seeing it, white privilege, use yours to fight for those without it. That shirt is amazing. Thank you, Jesse, again for doing this interview. Any final words you want to say out there to the people?
I do want to mention Chandrika Williams, my friend. I met her. She made this for me. She's out there. She's stitching. She's creating, and it's wonderful. So look into her. I'll put her name in the comments, whatever. I want to share that. But no, I'm just glad to be here. I really am, and I think that there's a lot of good to look forward to. And I look forward to seeing your face, man. When this stuff's over, we're going to get together. I'm going to come out to your place. You come back to mine. And it'd be nice.
Yeah, you got to come check out the crib, man. So you definitely have to come over here first, that's for sure. And again, Jesse, thanks again for doing this interview. If you want to just stay on, we can maybe just close it out ourselves, you and I, before I end the lives. Thank you guys again for listening. This is another interview on Motivate Me 313, and have a great day.